to today's video. Jesus Christ, it's echoey in here. Anyway, welcome back to the channel. As you know, my last video featured my Focus RS, and unfortunately, as you can probably tell from the title, things have gone, not to plan, things have gone wrong. Within about a month and a half of having it, unfortunately, as you can tell from the title, the engines blew up. If you classify it as blowing up. I'm going to go into the detail and kind of what happened and why, and hopefully what I'm going to do to the car, or what's happening with the car in the future, and kind of where we're going to go from there. So yeah, let's basically start off from kind of where it happened, or kind of what happened. So basically, the car was running fine for about a month and a half. I didn't really hit it, not hit it, drive it that hard. You give it a bit here and there off the roundabouts, do some quick accelerations, kind of up to the speed limit, and you'd be sensible in it. There was a couple of times I was like, we were on some private land, and I thought, I'll give it a bit of a blip, see what's going on, see how quick it can go on a rolling start. And unfortunately, I gave it probably more than I usually would, but no more than what the rev limiter would allow, which is about 6,000 revs. So you're not even in the red line then, really. Well, you are, I guess. But yeah, 6,000 revs from probably like gear 2, 3 through to 4, where it hit about 100 just over. I've done it a couple of times. All was well, as you'd expect from a high performance car. I don't know whether I would classify an RS as a high performance car. Even stock, they apparently can hit something like 167 or something. It's stock figures. And obviously mine's running the M400 tune from Mount Tune. That's kind of how it came when I bought it, as you guys know from the previous video. But yeah, kind of with that tune, you'd expect it to kind of probably put out a bit more top speed than that. But obviously we weren't going anywhere. We weren't all guns blazing, really say. And I wouldn't say I was driving it anywhere near as hard as you would drive it on a track. It's just kind of driving in a straight line, really. And yeah, we've done it a couple of times, and on the way back it got to about 100. And all of this was on private property, I can assure you, and there's a lot of people that will vouch for that. And all of a sudden that engine management light flashed on and off. And I was like, what's going on here? So the engine then went into limp mode as we kind of rolled off the speed from all the way down from about 80, kind of down to 40, and then the engine, by the time I got to about 40, 30 miles an hour, the engine just shut down. I was like, okay, this doesn't look promising, and kind of came to a stop. I was like, alright, this isn't great. So I got out, and the oil light came on. We're like, what's going on here? So, I'm not massively understanding of the whole mechanical side between cars. Obviously, my dad used to be a master technician for Ford, so I rely heavily on him for when it comes to his expertise with Ford cars and just any car in general, really. So, there was a few of us that had a look at it, and we were like, it doesn't seem like there's any oil leaking, nothing had kind of burst. So we were like, maybe it's just like a spark plug or a coil pack or something simple that could have just caused the engine to have a bit of a fit. So yeah, I ended up getting a car recovered home. It was about 45 miles. At the time I didn't even realise I had Ford Assist, which I could have got to recover it for free. Unfortunately I paid about 125 quid to get it recovered. So yeah, I just took the brunt and got it home. That's all I wanted to do, was get home at that point. The car was kind of screwed. I wasn't sure what to do with it. We tried to restart it a couple of times when we were there, and it would run, but you'd have to hold the revs itself, or yourself. The actual car wouldn't idle by itself, it would just completely shut down all the time. Like the engine just couldn't maintain idle. So by the time I got it home, it was fairly late, and I got my dad to come over, and he had his diag unit and everything, and we plugged it in and it said cylinder 1 misfire. So we were like, okay. Well, to be fair, actually, we got the engine started and he could tell it was a cylinder 1 misfire before it even plugged his diag unit in, because his experience knew from what he was hearing what the issue was. So I plugged in his diag unit, confirmed the fault, cylinder 1 misfire. So he said that's probably either a spark plug or a coil pack. So we've got the vehicle checked out with the RAC with Ford Assist in the morning. They said, right, let's get it recovered. So I recovered it to my local Ford dealership. Well, actually, it's not a local Ford dealership. Recovered it to the one that could deal with it quickest. Which, yeah, so it went to them. I'm not going to name names. It's, I don't really want to brush anyone out the wrong way as such, but I just kind of want to let you guys know the experience. So yeah, went to the Ford dealership. Not my local one. I would prefer to take it to the local guys because I know them, get along really well with them. They would have probably helped me out slightly better. But yeah, got recovered to them. They checked it out and they said, look, we're picking up the same thing as what your dad did in the ROC, which was cylinder 1 misfire. So like, we're going to replace the spark plug because that's what we believe it to be, but now spark plug. So replaced it. And then I got a call from them and they said, well, we've got some bad news. We replaced the spark plug on cylinder 1 and we took it for a road test to check that everything was working okay. And then all of a sudden it burnt out spark plug 3 on cylinder 3. So I was like, okay. And they're like, so we're not sure why that's happened, but they put one of them endoscope, baroscope cameras or whatever it is down into the cylinder head, or underneath it, or whatever you want to call it. And they took a little look round and they got some images of some cylinder damage, and they were like, we want to remove the cylinder head to learn about the extent of the damage, but they basically then and there told me that yeah, things were probably a lot more serious than we thought initially. So a few days went on. I think it took about a week before they got the cylinder head removal done. That happened. We had to pre-authorise that, by the way, and they were like, look, at the end of the day, it might still be covered under warranty. It might not, because obviously the mounting stuff. I was like, yeah, that's fine, let's just go for it. I'd only bought the car a month and a half ago, so I'd spoke to the dealership I bought it from, and they were happy to authorise a payment to get that done. So they did it, and then I got a call. When was it this week? I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday this week. And I answered the phone. I was like, I hope it's good news. And they were like, yeah, it's not. And basically, they had found quite a few issues. I'm actually going to get my phone out and read it to you because it's so much easier to read to you guys what they'd actually said, because we wanted some pictures and stuff and they wanted to send some stuff over to us to showcase that. So if we go on here, I will tell you. So they sent over some images as well, which I'll put on screen for you guys to see in a second as I kind of talk through this. So it says here, you can see in the images that cylinder number 3 has substantial damage from what we assume is overfueling to the cylinder, causing the piston to be subject to thermal overloading and ultimately melting the piston. On the cylinder head itself, there is a hole in one of the valves, and again there is damage to the head itself as a result. The car originally arrived with a misfire on cylinder 1 and found a spark plug burnt out, which was replaced in April 2019 during a service. Bear in mind that was replaced 4 months ago, and since then the car has only done 2,000 miles. It was done at like 19k, it's now on 21k, so it was very unusual for a spark plug to go that quick. Following this, the misfire moved to cylinder 3. Based on this, we suspect an overfuel and advise head removal to confirm the extent of the damage. Yeah, this is what got me as well. Obviously, Ford, I'll explain this in a minute. Basically, they turned around and said, the vehicle has been fitted with a Mountune 380 kit, which is not Ford approved, despite being fitted at a Ford dealership. The car has been fitted with an upgraded intercooler air system and a modified exhaust system, and based on this, the vehicle would have received some form of map upgrade to compensate for this, which we all understood, but we all know Mountune are quite conservative tuners. But this is the bit where it got a bit iffy. They then basically turned around and said it needed a new engine. It basically needed an engine replacement. It needed new fuel injectors and new spark plugs. And they were like, Ford aren't going to cover it under warranty because they blamed Mountune for the failure of the engine. I was like thinking, God, what am I going to do? I was like, I am now screwed up. It's shared this car a month and a half, but I kind of knew my consumer law sort of rights when you buy something, within 3 months it has to be functioning and all that sort of other stuff. So I spoke to the dealership that I bought it from, which was Cavendish Car Sales, and I can't recommend them enough. They really looked after me really, really well, and I can't complain at all. Rob and Leighton down there are honestly superstars, and they literally got it sorted on the day, authorised everything and said, look, let us have a chat, see what we can do. And they basically just authorised a replacement, which was about £8,500. So it was great of them to do that. There's a lot of probably dealerships that would have kicked up a fuss and be like, we're not covering that, or we're not doing this, it's your fault, or whatever. But yeah, it's a bit strange that it went. Obviously, but I'm glad to them. You don't expect a high performance car to just go within a month after buying it at all, especially with that kit installed as well. So we then spoke to Mountune, or I spoke to Mountune on the phone, and they basically turned around and said, I don't think our M400 map would have caused a fuel injector to go, which is a strange thing because that's what Ford was saying. They were blaming the fuel injectors and stuff, saying that's caused the fault, and it's the map's fault. It's the Mountune stuff that's caused stress in the engine, which just caused it to fail. Bear in mind, I believe the package was put on nearly 10,000 miles ago. Surely, I know this sounds stupid, but surely if it was that causing that much damage, it would have gone ages ago, not 10,000 miles after it's been installed. Personally, and what Mountune believe, and what a few of us other believe as well, and obviously the issues, bear in mind it was an early model Focus RS that was brought to the UK. It was one of the first ones. It was a 16 plate, so it had the old dodgy engine, it had already had a recall, head gasket recall, but there were known issues with them engines being quite weak. I think Ford have rectified a lot of that, and hopefully the new engine I get is one of the newer based ones that they've kind of redesigned a little bit. So hopefully that's a bit stronger. But going back on topic anyway, Mountune basically said, look, there's no way that our stuff would have caused that damage. But of course they were going to say that. They're just covering their own back, as would Ford, as probably would anyone. But yeah, it was a bit of a strange one because they said we've got hundreds of cars running that same package that had no issues whatsoever. But they did say they did have known issues of that package car going on the earlier models, which were like mine. So hopefully this time the stock engine will be able to take it. I don't know, I'm tempted to just detune it down to 375, keep it within warranty and stuff, because this has been a massive ball ache. But yeah, it got even weirder because my dad, obviously being a master tech, has a lot of experience. It's the highest level of technician you can be at Ford, I believe. Obviously, yeah, like senior techs and stuff, but the master tech is the highest level of tech you can be, and he worked in the trade for 30 years, so I trust his judgment over probably anyone else's when it comes to Ford cars. He's worked on so much stuff and still does a lot of work on them as well. And I sent him the pictures and I said to him, can you take a look over them? Does it look right to you? And obviously what you guys have seen from the pictures, you probably see that it looked pretty messed up. And he basically said, I don't believe what they're saying is the issue, caused the actual issue. He said, I don't believe the Mountune stuff caused that. He said, especially for a tune to cause a fuel injector to go or something like that, it is quite rare, unless it really is like a really stupidly badly tuned car and a really bad map. But he said it looks to him, he said when they were saying about the valve having a hole in it, he thinks that obviously, and I'm trying to go from what I remember him saying, is that he was saying that the valves are meant to turn around in the cylinder and rotate, otherwise they get too hot in one place. Obviously he said the metal can withstand a lot of heat, but if it's left in the wrong place, in one place, it will eventually become weaker and weaker and weaker. And he said it seems to him that the valve could have got stuck, causing it not to rotate anymore, causing a hot spot within the valve. And obviously then and it was, and I said to him, surely that would have gone ages ago. Then he said not necessarily, because if you haven't been booting the car, then it's probably been just kind of prodding along, it's just been dealing with it. But obviously when you put your foot down a bit and giving it a bit of stick, it's probably gone, I've had enough now, and then blown. Because of the heat going to it in the hot spot, it's probably just given up. Which he then thinks the valve obviously, has a hole in it. It then kind of, I think he said it would have probably gone at that point, potentially gone into cylinder 3, been mashed up by the piston, and obviously there's a lot of friction there between metal being mashed up against metal, in the cylinder. And then obviously the fuel coming in as well, which could have sparked anything and caused anything. cause the thermal overloading, as they say, to melt the piston. But it also looked like, from what he was saying, he said, there's a lot of black areas around the circular areas of the cylinder or where the pistons were, which he said that wouldn't have happened just from one instance. He said it looks like it's been there for a while, and he then thinks that the valves had actually been leaking. I don't know what sort of stuff that had been leaking. I can't remember what he actually said, technical terms, but he basically said it could have potentially been leaking. I don't know what it is, cooling or whatever. I don't know what goes in the cylinder. You guys are probably know in the comments or whatever, but you get the gist. And he said it looks like it had been going on for a little while. And it was obviously into the exhaust, I think it was the exhaust piston cylinder valves or whatever, where the fumes come out of. So, and this could have aligned with what a lot of people were seeing. A lot of people said, James, there's like smoke coming out the back of your exhaust. But a lot of people said they're quite sooty cars, they're quite, they do produce a lot of excess material out of the exhaust. And I thought it was just normal. It was like that since I got the car. But this could have been an aligning with kind of what was happening underneath the hood. And it's been a massive ball ache basically, and I just hope it's going to get sorted soon. The engine has been ordered. It should be in this Tuesday. Hopefully I should have the car back by next Friday before I go away on holiday. I just want it back at this point. I don't know whether I'm going to keep the M400 on it. If anything, I'm kind of just showcasing this to you all, because obviously if there is an issue with the M400, bear in mind the engine didn't have forged internals. I did also speak to the previous owner, and we both believe that when the M400 pack was installed, which was literally when Mountain just released it, they didn't even recommend on their website or say we recommend forged internals. This is when they first brought it out and didn't recommend it, or didn't offer that recommendation. But I think when people started noticing issues with the cars, engines going and stuff, even on their M400 tunes, that's when they kind of said, oh, we recommend, forged internals. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird one on that one, but obviously they said, I spoke to them on the phone, and they said, oh no, we've always recommended it. But I can remember looking at the website when it was first came out as well, and I can't ever, recall seeing that on the website when they released the package. I don't know whether you guys would have known that either, but it'd be good to get your thoughts down in the comments about that. So yeah, it's just a really, really strange one. Obviously Ford are just going to try and get out of it wherever they can. They don't want to pay $8,500 to get a new engine fitted, even if it was what we believe to be their fault. But then again, they're just going to turn around and say, well, it's the Mountain's map that's caused it. But then, would a map really cause a valve to stop rotating in the cylinder? No, it shouldn't do. That's just a manufacturing default, surely, because that is a Ford part of the engine. Mountain don't physically touch anything under the engine, under the cylinder head, unless they're doing the forged pistons and con rods, etc., which I potentially might get done in the future. But at this present time, I just wanted to warn everyone, this is kind of what I've gone through. So yeah, if you are thinking about going M400, think again, probably go for the forged internals. But then again, there are many people going around with the stock internals running M400 with no issues whatsoever on higher mileage cars as well, and they've had it for ages. So yeah, from that point, just be cautious, because Ford will wipe their hands with anything to do with that, and then you'll be sat there kind of feeling sad for yourself because you've got to cough up $8,500 to pay for a new engine. And I just hope this one's a bit more solid and has had the redesign from what they said. I hope it's not one of them refurbished ones, which sometimes they refurbish them and send it back out again. But I don't know. We'll find out. My dad's going to go over it with a tooth comb. When it gets back, check everything over, make sure they've installed everything correctly, because I don't actually believe the garage it's gone to, they're not a big enough garage to have a master technician there. So yeah, he kind of wants to go over it to make sure it's okay. But I also believe that there is going to be a second inspection done on the car before the engine gets refitted on the new one, or the new engine comes in. There is going to be a second inspection, but I think that's being done by the dealership I brought it from, because they just want to clarify that, if it is a Mountain fault, then so be it, but, they want to clarify that it is that, or if Ford are just trying to wipe their hands with it and then get the second inspection done to make sure that it is actually what they're saying, because if it's not, You know, there have been known cases where dealerships don't want the warranty work because they know they can get more money out of you as a customer, because Ford won't pay them the full cost or something like that. I think they take off a third or something of what they would get, so they say it's not going to go through as warranty when it probably could at points, just to get more money out of you, which sounds bad, but yeah, it's known within the trade, I think, in a lot of places. So yeah, just be cautious when you're doing that sort of stuff, know your rights, and kind of, if you can get a second inspection done, I would. But yeah, I just hope the car's going to come back safe. You know, I'm kind of gutted this happens. Really, really am, and I just want it back now. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I think I might just detune it back to 375. I believe the previous owner bought the 375 package, the 380 and the 400. So it's all been paid for, so we do have rights to all the maps and stuff from Mountune, which they said they'd happily provide. Mountune have been alright, to be fair. Obviously I don't have a stock downpipe to replace the sports downpipe with at the moment, sports cut downpipe or whatever it is, from Mountune. But Mountune said, look, you know, sometimes we get customers that don't want to keep the stock parts, so we take them in. So he said, look, you know, if we get one that is just spare, by all means you can have it, just pay for postage and package. So I was like, no, I really appreciate that. So hopefully we can work something out with Mountune, and maybe we can get something done on the forged internals at some point. But yeah, I'd be interested to know what you guys think of the damage on screen as well. So yeah, hopefully you did get to see them images for enough period of time, and hopefully you can pause over them if you want to have a look at them in further detail, see what you all think. But yeah, this is just kind of a warning to anyone that's looking to get an RS or has one and looking to upgrade it. Just be really cautious. If you are going to go M400, yeah, I'd probably go for the forged pistons and stuff. But then again, even if it had forged pistons, from what my dad was saying, it wouldn't have made a difference because the valve would have gone. And that could have caused hell anyway. Even with forged pistons, it just probably means it would have just reacted slightly better. But yeah, it's all in hindsight now. I can only look forward with this, get my car back, learn from it, and kind of just hope that it doesn't do it again, and try and restore the faith that I have in Ford. I've always been a Ford fan, as you all know. So yeah, it's just kind of that now. I've got my dream car. Let's just keep it that way, and hopefully the engine doesn't blow up again. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. I hope you find it good for information, etc. Especially if you are in the kind of process of potentially getting an RS or have one and thinking about upgrading. Just think of these things before you do it. You know, I thought the RS was a great car until the engine blew up. I think it still is a great car, but I think the reliability of them is very, very woeful. I spoke to certain people that have had 3 engine builds out of them already, which is not very good, but we'll see how it goes. It depends how you drive them. So, and I wouldn't say I'm a very aggressive driver at all. I just like the sound of the Mountune package and the kind of torque that it gives you. So yeah, hopefully it will all be good. Hopefully we can get the new car, well, not new car, the new engine in, and it will just be solid and hopefully not break again for the rest of the time I have it, and for the next owner of the car. But yeah, maybe German next time. I know they're meant to have good engine builds, especially BMW. But yeah, I hope this has been informational and helpful to anyone that might need it. So yeah, if you did find it useful, make sure you do leave a like, and if you do want to keep up to date with the content on the RS and me and on the channel, then be sure to subscribe, turn on that little bell, and that will keep you notified whenever I go live on some of the live streams, but it'll also keep you updated when I upload a new video. So hopefully we'll have some more content on the RS to come, and I'll keep you updated. You can also keep updated on my Instagram page, which is @JAJTV. Link will be in the description. So yeah, go check it out. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a nice evening or morning, whatever you're doing, weekend, you know, the lot, whenever you're watching it. But thanks for watching. Peace.